Greetings, 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 peace, love, harmony, and light. This is Chief Kalanago with a video bringing some information to the people. What it do, what it do, what it do. First off, I want to give thanks to the Great Spirit for the continuation of life. Giving thanks to my ancestors for always using me as a vessel to do this good work on behalf of the people. Let me just do the usual greetings. Mabrikwa, Sat Pase, Halito, Osio, Aloha. What the deal is, Wagwan. Let's get into this, right? In this video, I know everybody's all over the place with the distractions right now, but for me, you know, we gotta keep moving. We got work to do. You feel me? Don't get distracted. All right. Don't get distracted because everything is a distraction, right? They're pulling you into the so-called Dead Black Month, where they're gonna celebrate this so-called Black History Month. So what they have to do, they always do a ritual before that because they are preparing themselves for 28 days of ritualistic, ceremonies. All right, and you're gonna have all these so-called Black people that's dead in law or considered dead celebrating 28 days of that, right? So just know that we have work to do. I tell people I celebrate the living, not the dead. You feel me? I don't mean to sound heartless, but I know what the game is. I see what the game is. You feel me? People have to know that when you make a deal with the devil, there's consequences, right? When the devil take you on the mountaintop and say, hey, call me your God or acknowledge me as God and I will give you the entire world. When you say yes to that, then just know there's sacrifices, right? You got to keep feeding the devil. So that's what it is. You feel me? But, I'm here to deal with the living. We got work to do. You dig? And I ask people, all these celebrities and all these people, what are they doing for our people? They spend more time building schools outside of the United States. They spend more time doing things outside of the hood, outside of the ghetto, to all those children that idolize them. They spend less time doing for them. You feel me? They know the truth, but they're not speaking the truth. So why do you idolize these people? I don't idolize no man, period. So I'm not here to sound, insensitive or that's not what it is. I have a lot of love and compassion. You feel me? But I just don't deal with the the politics of Hollywood. Okay, these people know what they're getting into. And may I remind you, our children don't necessarily have to get into sports to be successful. You feel me? So I'm just saying that to say, now, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. What I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about clerk of courts and court clerk and a few other things, because everything that you're dealing with right now, it's not going to help you in a court situation. All right. And I'm not here to dog nobody out, but it just is what it is. You feel me? Because it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have. If you don't know how to apply the knowledge, then what's the point of having the knowledge, right? It doesn't matter how much knowledge you have. I'm going to repeat myself. People say knowledge is power, which is great. But I always like to take things a step further and say it is the application of the knowledge. That's where the real power comes in. So I'm going to show you and teach you how to apply the knowledge and how to protect yourself. Now, I have to make my disclaimers, all right? I'm not bringing that information for people to be out here lawless, all right? I want my people to remain in honor. And when I say lawless, I'm talking about when laws, statutes, codes, and ordinances are not laws. They are policies, all right, that are created by agencies. All right, so they're not laws. I'm talking about the laws of the universe. I'm talking about universal laws. I'm talking about laws where if you harm someone, you damage somebody's property, or you defraud people. I'm talking about those kind of laws. So I'm not giving you that information to go out there and be dishonorable. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not giving you that information to go out there and be lawless, and because you know the information, you think you could get away with it. No, that's not what it's for. I'm giving you the information for when you are truly being taken advantage of. when these policy enforcers and, when these public servants are not doing their jobs, then you know how to handle yourself as a man or a woman. All right. I am not an attorney. I don't practice law. However, there's no law against me teaching, my fellow man. And that's exactly what I'm doing. The information is public information. So that's what I'm doing. All right. So with that being said, peace and love and greetings to each and every one of you. And let's get into this build. All right. I'm not sure if you guys know that there's a difference between the clerk of court and the court clerk. Okay. Let me just break down the difference to you in layman's terms. All right. Anytime you see there is, the clerk of court, that means that person is not the boss. All right. Just like how you have the state of something. You see what I'm saying? It means that it is de facto. It's the same thing with the clerk of court. The clerk of court is not the boss. The court clerk is the boss. All right. So when you're having issues with the clerk of court, sometimes they try to tell you what is interchangeable and they are the same. Sometimes the court clerk may say, well, I'm the clerk of court, but if you're the court clerk, you cannot be the clerk of court. It's either one or the other. All right. But the latter, meaning that the court clerk may also tell you, I'm the clerk of court. But normally and usually it's the court clerk that's the boss. And the clerk of court work for the court clerk. I hope that makes sense. All right. So with that being said, let's proceed, because a lot of times these people know they're gatekeepers and they're preventing people who are making waves to declare who they are, put who they are on record, or just file anything you need to file. They're making it difficult and they're not doing their jobs. So I'm going to break this down for you and let you know what they are doing. They are actually committing crimes because they're hurting the public by not doing their jobs. All right. So let's get into this. I'm going to share my screen. First off, I want to show you who these people are, because if you don't, you see a couple of things I have to let y'all know. And even before I proceed, for those of you who want to support, this build, this lecture, like I said, they're not going to teach you that in school. All right. So this could potentially prevent you from going to jail. The information that you're going to get, it could potentially pretty much, save your family. All right. And you determine how much that's worth to you. But I'm not here to ask you for anything. All right. I'm just here to say, if you want to support, by all means, feel free to support. But if you don't know what you are dealing with and who you are dealing with, you cannot stand on your grounds. The rules of the games are you have to know the players and you have to know the game. All right. You have to. So let me show you who you are dealing with. Let me share my screen real quick. Let me see this here. Back towards. Okay. Let me share my screen. Because you need to know who you're dealing with, okay? I'm sharing this screen right here. You guys should be able to read this, okay? Now, this right here is standing to enforce government statutes, zone of interest. All right. I'm just going to pick out, one word from that entire, excerpt right here to let you know who you're dealing with. It says, in some instances, a plaintiff may bring suit to force government actors. That's the key word right there. Actors. I don't need to read any further, but I'm just going to read that complete sentence. In some instances, a plaintiff may bring suit to force government actors to conform their conduct to the requirement of a specified federal statute. Okay? I'm going to deal with that word actors. They are all actors. They are acting in the capacity of the job description. A police officer wasn't born a police officer. A magistrate wasn't born a magistrate. A judge wasn't born a judge. A court of clerk of court wasn't born to be a clerk of court or a court clerk. A sheriff wasn't born to be a sheriff. Okay, they are acting in the capacity of. So they are all actors. So if you don't know that you are playing a role in a big script, that's why they have to what? They have to write acts. Acts. You see, they get actors to write acts. And they have to go by the script. What is the script? The script is the code, the policy. That's the script. That's why they have to go by the book. They have to go by the codes. You feel me? So when you deal with a lot of law enforcement and agents, a lot of them don't know anything outside the scope of what they were taught, outside of that script. Now, sometimes a lot of them do know when you deal with the higher echelons. But when you're dealing with the cops that's beating, the street, a lot of them don't know what's past what they were taught. So you have to know for yourself what the game is and who you are dealing with. So now that you know we are dealing with actors, and actors play out roles, right? And it's all a big script. Then you're dealing with directors. Only that the director can change the script. The actor cannot change the script. So why do you spend time arguing and debating with the police? That's why when I see people doing videos and want to challenge the police and to prove a point on camera, 9 out of 10 times you see them getting their face bashed in. Because you are debating an actor who didn't write the script. He's just playing a role. So you have to deal with the directors, the executive producers. You have to deal with them, to approach them and deal with the actor. Now, it doesn't mean you cannot assert your rights when you run into one of these actors. But if you see the situation is getting a little bit heightened, don't agitate the situation. Because now people get into their feelings and people don't like being embarrassed, especially when you do it on camera. Okay? Regardless of how police officers or, law enforcement may seem tough, they got feelings. They all emotional. You feel me? They all emotional. So you have to be wise in the way that you act yourself. Know that you are playing a game and be the best actor that you could be. Okay? Play your role like you are actually trying to get an Oscar. So I just want you to know, first of all, who you are dealing with. All right? That's number one. Let us get into right here. Next. I'm going to read a little bit of this. I'm trying to see if I could make this a little bigger. Let me see. Okay, I think, okay, that's good. That should be good. All right, here we go. All right. Now, well, first off, you know what? Let me go to the duties. Let me go to the next slide first before I come to that, right? All right, so let us go to basic obligation of public service. All right, let's read that first. Basic obligation of public service. And you could find that information, get your pen and your pad, or you could go back and, look at the video, pause it so you could write the information. So we have section CFR, all right? CFR section 2635. Period 101, basic obligation of public service. Public service is a public trust. All right. Remember, you guys, it's a trust that you are dealing with. All right. And they made themselves the trustees, and you are supposed to be the beneficiary. But just because for the lack of knowledge, people don't know that they are the beneficiary, these public officials or public servants, they make themselves the trust, the grantor, the trustee and the beneficiary, which is crazy. They can't do that. They're not allowed to do that. You feel me? But that's what they do. You did. All right. So give me a second here, guys. Give me a second here. All right. Stop sharing. Let me just pull some information up for you guys. Give me a second. All right, here. Okay, where am I at here? Give me a second. Here we go. All right. So know that the each employee has a responsibility to the United States government and its citizens to place loyalty to the Constitution, laws, and ethical principles above private gain. So I'm going to break down what this means. Okay, let's read it again. Public service is a public trust. Each employee has a responsibility to the United States government and its citizens to place loyalty to the Constitution. All right, their loyalties to the Constitution. And who wrote the Constitution? In the preamble of the Constitution, it says what? We the people. So if we the people wrote the Constitution, then if their loyalty is to the Constitution, then by default, their loyalty is to the people. Okay? Man, I thought I was sharing my screen. Give me a second. Give me a second here. Here we go. All righty. Okay. So if their loyalty is to the Constitution, then by default, their loyalty is to the people. All right. And it says laws and ethical principles above private gain. So they cannot put their own personal interest of private gain before the people. Anytime they're doing that, that is unconstitutional. All right. And they're violating the Constitution. Now, don't think the Constitution is not applicable. The Constitution is applicable, but if you go in there as a dead entity, it doesn't apply to you. Okay? So anytime you're stepping and you're questioning, the Constitution, you cannot go in there and question the Constitution or try to uphold the Constitution as someone who's dead in law, i.e., Black, African American. You can't do that. You got to go in as the people, as a man, as a woman. All right? Keep that in mind. Public service is a public trust requiring employees to place loyalty to the Constitution, the laws, and the ethical principles above private gain. Number 2, employees shall not engage in financial transactions using non-public government information or allow the improper use of such information to further any private interest. So it is clearly stating that again, they cannot, all right, and should not hold financial interests that conflicts with the conscious performance of duty. They cannot, pardon me, I was reading number 3, my fault. They shall not engage in financial transactions. So anytime they're doing business using non-public government information or allow the improper use of such information to further any private interest, they are violating the Constitution. I skipped number 2. Let me read number 2. Employees shall not hold financial interests that conflict with the conscientious performance of duty. Anytime they're dealing with private gain, all right, that's a conflict of interest. And I'm going to show you how they're doing that every single time. Okay. Number 4, an employee shall not, except as permitted by subpart B of this part, solicit or accept any gift or other item of monetary value from a person or entity seeking official action from, doing business with, or conducting activities regulated by the employee's agency or whose interests may be substantially affected by the performance or non-performance of the employees and duties. Basically, what that means is that, right, the employees, meaning that the public servants, they shall not, meaning that they are not allowed to accept, well, except for as permitted in subpart B, which when you go look at the statute, the CFR, you can look what subpart B means. But I promise you it doesn't apply to any of them, all right? Of this part, it says, they shall not solicit or accept any gift or other item of monetary value of any person or entity seeking official action from, doing business with, or conducting activities regulated by the employer's agency, or whose interests may be substantially affected by the performance or non-performance of the employee's duties. So taking bribes or taking gifts or monetary gifts is, okay, unconstitutional. Employees shall not use public office for private gain, and they are public officials. And once again, I'm going to show you how they are doing that, but nobody is holding them accountable because people are afraid. All right? But it said the laws are set in stone, right? And who's an employee? Employee means any officer or employee of an agency, including a special government employee. It includes officers, but not enlisted members of the uniformed services. It includes employees of a state or local government or other organizations who are serving on detail to an agency pursuant to 5 U.S.C. 3371 for purposes other than subparts B, which I said you could go look into. All right, but just know that they are violating these codes, and I'm going to show you how they are doing that for private gain. Because even if they are public officials, they all work for private organizations. So that is for personal gain. Many people don't know that the courts is a private organization. Okay, the police department is a private organization. The clerk of court, okay, is a private organization. All these entities are private organizations, and the money and the monies that they are getting, it is for private use because it's a private organization. What many people don't know is the federal government have a budget for all these agencies because they're federal employees and they already got paid. They already got paid. But what they did was they created organizations, private companies, and they are working, okay, through charters. They are working through charters, all right, and they are doing this for private gain. I want you to know that everything is already paid for. The federal government already paid for. We don't have to go back into when the United States got bankrupt. I want you guys to stay with me, right? Because I don't want it to be confusing. When the United States got bankrupt, supposedly in 1933, they gave everybody HR 192. I mean HJ 192, meaning that everything is already paid for. It's discharged. Okay, you're allowed to, all your debts already paid. All your debts are already paid. So what the federal government did, they already paid even the jails. Okay, the jails is already paid for in advance. Every court, the courts get a budget, they paid for in advance. The post office already paid for in advance. All those things, you're supposed to be mailing stuff for free. Whenever you go to court, all that's supposed to be for free. It's already paid for. However, the people don't know. So they have private organizations, okay, that are soliciting money or gifts from the public, which is unconstitutional. It's against the codes, but people don't know. So you see, people perish for the lack of knowledge. I just want to make that clear, all right? Let me see, let us go to the next one. So that is how they're violating, and they're doing it for private gain. Now, the powers and duties of the clerks and deputies, because we are dealing with the court of clerk right now, right? The clerk of each court and his deputies and assistants shall exercise the powers and perform the duties assigned to them by the court. Now, the court, you have to ask the question, well, what is the court or who is the court? As used in this subsection, the term court means any court of any state, the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, Guam, the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, or the Virgin Islands, and any Indian tribal court or court of Indian offense, right? But that key word here, right here, let me highlight this, means any court of any state. Don't forget, you are an estate. You are a state. That's why it's the people's court. The people is the court, so therefore you are a court. When you step into a court, all right, it's a court going against a court, all right? Now, if you give them jurisdiction over your court, then they have the highest authority. But if you know that you are a court, you could hold your court and bring their court into your jurisdiction. But of course, you have to know how to do these things. I'm just opening up your mind to let you know that you are a court because you are a state. You are the soil. You are the land. So therefore, you are a court. You have to know these things. Okay? Let's read this again. The clerk of each court and his deputies, and normally the clerk of court is a female, normally it should be, and assistants shall exercise the powers and perform the duties assigned to them by the court. So their job is to do the duties that the court assigns them. Now, they're not going to tell you in blatantly, they're not going to tell you that you are a court. But I want you to know now that you are a court. Okay? Just so you know. Let us go back and we're going to, the ones I didn't go through, we're going to go back and we're going to go through them. But I had to go read the Court of Clerk first. All right? Now, you have Penal Code 1860. All right? You guys, like I said, go ahead and, do the research on that yourself. Don't take any of this, my word, do your own research, all right? Federal Rules of Appellate Procedures. Let me see if I could open that up a little more, make it a little bigger. All right, here we go. Okay, oh, come on, man. All righty. Federal Rules of Appellate Procedure, Rule 45, Clerk's Duties. Rule 45, Clerk's Duties. Section 166A, Public servant disobeying direction on the law. Whoever being a public servant. Now remember, we spoke of what employees are in regards to working for the public. Whoever being a public servant. A, knowingly disobeys any direction of law which prohibits him from requiring the attendance at any place of any person for the purpose of investigation into an offense or any other matter, or knowingly disobeys the prejudice of any person, any other direction of the law regulating the manner in which he shall conduct such investigation, or fails to record and any information given to him under subsection 1 of section 154 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, 1973, 2 of 1974, in relation to cognizable offense punishable under section 326A, section 326B, section 354, section 354B, section 370, section 370A, section 376, section 376A, section 376B, section 376C, section 376D, section 376E, or section 509 shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 6 months, but which may extend to 2 years, and shall also be liable to be fined. Now, I want you to pay attention to that. All right. All these little sections and all that you could look into. But the key highlight factors are Whoever being a public servant fails to record any information given to him under that subsection shall be punished. So we have to hold these people accountable. You have to know the information so you're able to stand. It's the only way to exercise your rights is when you know what your rights are and how to defend your rights. They are public servants. And when they fail or disobey what they're supposed to do on the law, they're not above the law because you are the law. The people are the ones who make the law. The people are the ones who make the Constitution. So they cannot be above the Constitution. Therefore, they cannot be above the people. And anytime they disobey any of those laws, they shall and will be punished for up to 6 months of imprisonment, all right, which may extend to 2 years, and shall be liable to pay a fine. You have to let these people know that you know your rights and you know the law and you have to apply the law. Okay, I'll see if there's a way I could get those documents and put it in because they're PDFs. All right, so you know what I mean. So I don't know. I'll have to see if I could get it some way and then put it in a link or whatever. But make sure you do the research yourself. Okay. Let us go on to another one. No federal agents are allowed to accept money for performing duties which they swore on the oath to uphold the Constitution. Once again, let's read that. Okay. No federal agents. And right here, court clerk filing federal rules at the top right here. Let's look at this. All right. Court clerk. You see what it says, right? Court clerk, not clerk of court. So they're talking about the duties of the head honcho, the boss. So anybody under him or her, that applies to as well. That's why I told y'all there's a difference between a court clerk and a clerk of court. All right, let's read this again. No official agents are allowed to accept money for performing duties which they swore on the oath to uphold the Constitution. So a court clerk, when you go file your documents, they're not supposed to charge you money. They already got a budget for that. They are charging you because it's for private and personal gain because they are working for a private corporation. I hope you're following me today. All right. 18 U.S. Code, Section 2076, Clerk of the United States District Court. Whoever, being a clerk of a district court of the United States, willfully refuses or neglects to make or forward any report, certificate, statement, or document as required by law, remember, you are the law, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. I'm going to read that again. Title 18 of the USC Code, Section 2076, Clerk of the United States District Court. Whoever, being a clerk of a district court of the United States, willfully refuses or neglects to make or forward any, not some, but any report, certificate, statement, or document as required by law shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. All right. Qualifications. The circuit clerk must take an oath and post any bond required by law. So when they're violating those rights that you have, when they're violating those codes, you have a right to demand their oath and their bond. That is the only time they're going to start taking you seriously, when you start asking for their oath and their bond, because they're not doing their jobs. You see, they're gatekeepers, and they don't want people to follow their documents. So you have to know how to hold them liable and know what their duties are under the law, or else they will go to jail. Period. Okay? Qualifications. The circuit clerk must, it didn't say might, It didn't say if they choose. It says what? Must take the oath and post any bond required by law. That is the law, period, point blank. You cannot be a circuit clerk without taking an oath. And you got to post your bond that is required by law. You have to. Period. The clerk must, once again, is not if the clerk chooses, is not what type of mood you're in today, is not what the boss of that private company tells you. No, it says what? The clerk must. Did it say might or can? No, it says what? Must record what? All papers filed with the clerk and all process orders and judgments. What it says what? Must file, must record all papers, not some, all. So if I choose to write some documents and say, well, you know what? I have a golden statue in my back of my yard, and I want to put that on record and make it a public record. The clerk of court must file my documents, or else you are violating the codes. You get to go to jail for 6 months after I make you aware that you are violating the law. I hope you guys are following this today, because it is time that we start doing things that's going to change our lives. Like I said before, reading books and knowing history and all that is great. Knowing who was here first is great. Oh, we already did all that. We know who was here first. My question to you is, knowing that you have been here first, how is that changing your life? I'm showing you things moving forward that's going to show you how to take action, how to change your life, how to protect your children, okay? How to let these people do their jobs and hold them accountable. I am tired of our children going to jail. I am tired of brothers and sisters, or just people in general, being abused by the system because people don't know. There's a lack of knowledge. And the information is out there. It's public information. So the clerk must record all papers filed. The moment I give you that document, consider it filed. Period. Okay? Let us proceed. Thank you to America for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you. All right. I wish more would follow suit and do the same thing that you did. Thank you for showing your appreciation. Because like I said, they go to college and pay student loans for thousands of dollars and be in debt. And they come off and they don't even know these things. You feel me? So please show your appreciation. Thank you. Upon the entry of an order or judgment, the circuit clerk what? It didn't say if they so choose. It didn't say if they feel like. It didn't say what type of mood that they're in. It says what? Must immediately serve a notice of entry on each party with a copy of any opinion and must note the date of service on the document. I'm going to read that again. Upon the entry of an order or judgment, the circuit clerk must immediately serve a notice of entry. So that means once I get in front of that clerk and I give you my documents, that document is automatically filed. You cannot give it back to me. That's your job. Your job is to file, and that's it. You get up every morning, you drink your coffee, you go to work, and you come to work to serve me. Period. You don't go to work. You don't go to work to serve the private corporation. You go to work to serve we the people, and that's your job. And if you don't do it, you get to go to jail. Point blank, period. Okay? They must immediately serve a notice of entry on each party with a copy of any opinion and must note the date of service on the docket. They have to give you a docket number, a filing number immediately. They have to do that. That's their job. Okay? It's not an opinion. It's not how they feel. It's not how they, well, I got up today and I don't feel like filing your papers. Nah. You're going to do your job. If you don't, we're going to make sure you go to jail. See, we have to start holding these people accountable. That's what we got to start doing. All right, where we at right here? I think, did I do all of them? I think I did. Let me just click on that again. I think I did all of them. I think I did that. Yep, we did that. Okay, let us go to the next. Just making sure we covered all bases. Yep, the penal code, we did that. Yep, we did that. Powers and duties of the clerk, we did that. Okay, so we did all of that. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen while you guys building the chat. Let me look for something else for you guys. All right, just give me a second, please. Give me a quick second here. All right, let me look for something for y'all. What's going on here? Congratulations, man. Listen. Alrighty then, let me close this out here for a second. Okay, this is all the documents. Okay, standing, I already did that. Close that out. Just give me a second here. Alrighty, close that out. Close that out. We did that. No federal. Okay, we did that. Okay. Bear with me here, guys. I know I should have put all that together before, but I didn't. So my apologies, because like I said, I just got up and be like, you know what, let me just do this for the people. So, you know, I do apologize for that. All right. Good. As used. All right, good. Mm-hmm. All right, this is kind of small. Used. All right, here. Open that up. All right, bring that down. Penal code. I read that already. Close that out. And close that out. Okay. We almost there. I think I got it. But this is so small. Yeah. All right. But anyway, you know what? I'm just gonna read it out to you guys, okay? And then you could go look it up, which we already did, right? And you could go look at U.S. Code Section 956, powers and duties of the clerk and deputies. All right, we already read that. The clerk of each court and his deputies and assignees shall exercise the powers performed to them by the court. And we already explained who the court is, so we already did that. Okay. And we already point out that anytime they're asking you for money, you know what I'm saying, they're not supposed to, because they already got paid. So all these codes that you could use, all right, soliciting of a bribe constitute a crime, and is completed regardless of whether the solicitation results in a receipt of a valuable gift. Concerning bribery, think about why the sheriff could not openly accept your gift of food. Bribery is defined by Black's Law Dictionary as offering of gift, of giving, receiving, or soliciting of any item of value to influence the actions of an official or the person in charge of a public or legal duty. Public or legal duty. All right, and that's 5 CFR Section 2635, period 101, basic obligation of public service. And you have Section B2, Federal Rules of Appellate Procedure, Rule 45, Clerk's Duties, Rule 45. Clerk's duties. U.S. Code Section 956, powers and duties of the clerk. The clerk of each court and his deputies and assignments shall exercise the powers and duties given to them to perform or assigned by the court. We already say who the court is. The court is you. And UCC Section 2-201, formal requirements, statutes of frauds. Receipts must be issued. Okay? They have to give you a receipt, an official receipt, a receipt with the letterhead. They will not give you a receipt that has the letterhead of the business, because then they know what they're doing is fraud. All right? Let me just go to something else real quick. Not here, but right here. I'm going to share my screen again. Let me come back here again. All right. I hope so far, you know, what I shared makes sense, right? So we are talking about the clerk of court, right? The clerk of court have no right to refuse your documents, because a lot of people are having problems in those courts when they're making their declarations and they want to go file their declarations. In other words, making it a public notice. They know exactly what you are doing. They know exactly what you are making an attempt to do, but they are the gatekeepers. You see, they have to perpetuate the fraud of enslaving people involuntarily. You see what, well, not involuntarily, voluntarily, because you are doing it voluntarily. You feel me? But because you are making an attempt to correct that and put it on record, they are denying people that process that they have a right to. So you have to know what the codes are to hold those clerks accountable and let them know if they don't do their job. Ask them for their oath of office and ask them for their bond. They have to post their bond. Once you do that, the tone will change. Okay? The tone will change. Let me share my screen and we're going to go to the next set of information I want to share with you guys, right? Here we are. And I did that before, right? And I'm going to show it to you again because it all ties into the duties of these public officials. All right? This is Title 28 U.S. Code 455. I'm gonna do 454 454 first. All right. Title 28 USC Code Title 28 Section 454, practice of law by justices and judges. Okay, so all this ties in. Okay, because if you're not allowed to put your documents on the record, then when you go to the court, you could still establish who you are by sending a notice to the judge before you go to a court. You could do that. All right. But if you have something on record, you could also reference that in your documents, in your notice, so that, you know, ahead of time, so that when the judge get that notice, he could reference that number from the clerk and realize that you have something on record declaring who you are. So even before you go into a court, which you shouldn't be going anyway, right? But they want to force you to go. If you do happen to go into a court, then you should have, your document should always precede you. Never just walk into a court. Oh, well, you give me a court date. No, I never do that. For any reason. I don't care if it's for a ticket. I don't care what it is. Okay? If I have to appear before a court, I make sure that my documents precede me. I always send a notice letting them know who is coming before the court. I'm coming as a man. I'm not your defendant. I'm not a plaintiff. I'm not a suspect. I'm none of that. I'm coming as a man. And now you have to prove to me that you have jurisdiction over this man. Because this man was made in the likeness and image of the gods. So I'm a god coming into the court. Now you show me you have jurisdiction over me. So you have to know how to stand on your own. But I'm showing you some of the tools that you could use to stand or to make your stand if you so choose. I'm just giving you the public information. All right. So here we are. Now you're dealing with judges and magistrates, right? Title 28. USC Code, Section 454, practice of law by justices and judges, right? Any justice or judge appointed under the authority of the United States who engages in practice of law is guilty of what? A high misdemeanor. What does that mean? I already broke that down to you guys, but I felt it necessary to add it to the clerk of court duties. Okay? What does that mean in layman's terms? It means that any judge or magistrate, okay, that is practicing law, they cannot, all right, and they cannot be on the bench, period. Any justice or judge appointed under the authority of the United States who engages in the practice of law is guilty of a high misdemeanor. And I guarantee you, over 98% of the judges and magistrates, okay, they are practicing law on the bench. I'm going to tell you why. Because they still have their bar card. Because they are practicing attorneys. If you don't believe me, go do your own research. So anytime any judge or magistrate is trying to pull you into their court, do your research. Do your due diligence. Call the bar association in your state and let them know, hey, you know what? I would like to know if this judge or magistrate is licensed. I want to know if they have a barcode or they have a bar number. I would like their bar number. And the bar association, they have a right to give it to you. Okay? It's public information. If they don't want to give it to you over the phone, then you do what's called a FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act. They have a right to give it to you. They are public officials. And I guarantee you, I'm not guessing this, I guarantee you, over 98% of these judges and magistrates, they still have their bar ID, meaning that they're still practicing attorneys. So therefore, by law, okay, they cannot engage in the practicing of law and be on the bench. That is a high misdemeanor. And that's facts. All right. Let us go to Title 28, Section 455. I think 455D, I think. But we're going to read that again. All right. Let us read. Any justice, judge, or magistrate, judge of the United States shall disqualify himself in any proceeding. It didn't say some proceeding. In any proceeding in which his impartiality might reasonably be what questioned. I'm going to read that again. Any judge, justice, or magistrate, judge of the United States shall disqualify himself in any proceeding in which his impartiality might reasonably be what questioned. And let me tell you how you could question that, because for one, he works with the attorneys. He works with the DA. Okay? He works with the prosecutor. So that alone in itself is a conflict of interest. So that alone shows that he's been impartial. So he has to disqualify himself. But if you do not point that out in a notice, you don't blurt it out in court. No. You put in a notice. Okay? Requesting that it's your wish that this judge be removed because he's being impartial. And you have every right to do that. Okay? B, he shall also disqualify himself in the following circumstances: where he has a personal bias or prejudice concerning a party, or personal knowledge of disputed evidentiary facts concerning the proceeding. Anytime there's any form of bias, you have to exclude yourself. Number two, where in private practice he served as a lawyer in the matter in controversy, or a lawyer with whom he previously practiced law served during such association as a lawyer concerning the matter, or the judge or such lawyer has been a material witness concerning it. In other words, they all work together. So it says, where in private practice he served as a lawyer in any matter, in any controversy, or a lawyer with whom he previously practiced. You see, you have to do your research, do your background research on these people, find out what case they tried, what lawyers they worked with, what prosecutors they worked with. And if they have that kind of relationship, then he has to excuse himself. All right. Number 3, where he has served in government employment and in such capacity participated as counsel, advisor, or a material witness concerning the proceeding, or expressed an opinion concerning the merits of the particular case in controversy. Again, you have to do your own due diligence. All right. You have to do your own due diligence. Number 4, he knows that he individually or as a fiduciary or his spouse or minor child residing in his household has a financial interest in the subject matter in controversy or in party to the proceeding, or any other interest that could be substantially affected by the outcome of the proceeding. Now that applies to each and every one of them, because they work for a private court. They work for a private organization. So therefore there is what? There is financial interest. So he has to recuse himself. It is that simple. Okay? And if they don't excuse themselves or stand down, then that is a high misdemeanor. All right? I just want to point those things out. Somebody asked, are you a legal expert? Go check in the beginning of the video. I already gave the answer for that. I don't have to give I don't have to be a legal expert to read the law. It's the law. Okay? So go check out the beginning of the video and you can get the answer for that. You did. All right? But for the most part, just know that what these people are doing, they are breaking the law. They're acting like they're above the law. And that's how a lot of our people are getting jammed up in these court systems. All right? The codes are right there for you to see. I didn't make them up. They're not my codes. I didn't create them. They're telling you, as public officials, these people have a duty and an obligation to do their jobs. And if they don't, they will go to jail. So instead of them sending you to jail, you send them to jail. You get them arrested. They have to do their jobs. All right? So just to recap, a clerk of court or a court clerk has every right. It's the law. They have to file your documents. That's in their codes. Secondly, they're not supposed to charge you for that because they already got paid. The federal government give them a budget. But what they do is they create private organizations to solicit monies from the people which they already got paid for. And they have no right to read your documents. They have no right to give you legal advice. They have no right to alter your documents. They have no right to do none of those things. And if they're giving you problems for you filing your documents, ask them for their oath of office and their bond. And you bring a claim against them. All right, that's the first part of what I spoke of. The second part is the judges and magistrates. If they are practicing attorneys, okay, meaning that if they're still a part of the bar association, that means they are practicing attorneys. By law, they're not supposed to be sitting on the bench. That is a high misdemeanor. Okay, stop allowing yourself to be swindled by these criminals. Okay, let me show you who a criminal is based on Black's Law Dictionary. All right, here we go. Definition of criminal, Black's Law Dictionary. Definition of criminal, Black's Law Dictionary. All right, crime, definition of crime. Let us look at the definition of crime, Black's Law Dictionary. All right, let me share my screen. Where we at? Let me share my screen real quick. Here we go. Black's Law Dictionary. Where we at? Okay. Definition of crime. Black's Law Dictionary. What is a crime? Okay. A crime is an act committed or omitted in violation of a public law. All right. So when they violate a public law, that's a crime. It says either forbidding or commanding it, a breach or violation of some public right or duty due to a what? A whole community considered as a community. It is that simple. That's what a crime is. I'm going to read that again. Black's Law Dictionary. What is a crime? A crime is an act committed or omitted in violation of a public law. So when they are violating the public law, that's a crime. It reads, either forbidding or commanding it. A breach, here's what a crime is again, a breach or violation of some public right or duty to a whole community. What is the community? The community is the people. All right? So if there's a breach of violation of that public right, that is a crime. Okay? So when any officer, whoever it is preventing you, okay, or is omitting or forbidding you your right, he's committing a crime. She's committing a crime. So don't ask them, what crime did I commit? Okay? Let them know that they are the ones committing the crime, not you. Because the moment you say, well, officer, what crime did I commit? You're putting yourself in a criminal status mode. I'm not a criminal. I didn't commit any crimes. So I'm going to ask you, I know you're the one committing the crime. So I'm going to ask you, well, officer, do you know that you're committing a crime? I'm not going to ask you, what crime did I commit? Y'all better stop incriminating yourselves, man. Okay? So this is where it's at. You feel me? So just wanted to share this information with you guys. Like I said, I know a lot of times these things seem so unimportant, but I promise you, it could change your life when you know these things. All right? Once again, I'm not here to give legal advice. I am not a practicing attorney. I am just sharing public information. There is no law that says I cannot share public information to my fellow men and women. You feel me? Well, here's the thing, family. The people, we the people made the laws. They were put in place to enforce the laws. Okay? And until we the people take a stand, all right, then the system cannot exist without the people. The people give the system the power. It's as simple as that. No one is above the law, you know? And I'm not giving you that information to show that you're above the law. No, the law is the law. But they have to abide by the law. It wasn't just put in place for you or for us. No, it's there for everybody. So that's just the bottom line, man. That's just the bottom line. Okay? Until you are able, or you have to make sure that you could hold them accountable. That's not going to change. Okay? That's not going to change. It is that simple. Okay, it is that simple. All right, let me see if I could take a picture of a document when I actually, because I tell people I put in real work. Okay, I put in real work. When rights are being violated, I put in real work. Let me take a picture of and then I'll share it in my screen. I'll share it with you guys. Okay, I put in real work. When I deal with these people, you're not gonna violate my rights like that. All right, you got to take a stand, and you got to let these people know you know who you are. All right, you know your rights that's given to you by the Creator. All right, okay. So that's the envelope right there. Let me see if I could show you guys this real quick. Let me see. All right. Yep. Clerk of court. There, my ears is ringing, boy. Ancestors got a. My ears is ringing. The ancestors got a download for me. I need to go into meditation and get that. They're trying to tell me something. You know what I mean? They always let me know what's popping. They always let me know what's good. That's why I honor my ancestors all day, every day. Okay, let me see if I can do this again. All right, cool. Give me a second. Let me just share this document real quick, and I will show you guys. Like I do this for real. Okay, I don't play games. I tell people if you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for everything. It's that simple. All right, it's that simple. Okay, it's that simple. Point blank. Period. All right, let me share this real quick. Give me a second, guys. Let me just send this to myself, and then I'll pull it up in an email. I want you guys to know and see that I do this for real. Okay, let me go to my email inbox. Okay, here we go. I'm pulling this up real quick. Okay, where's the attachment at? Come on, man. You didn't attach. All right, you have to know that these people, once again, are public officials. All right, they are public servants. Public servants meaning that you work for the public, you work for the people. I tell people there's no difference between public and private. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. It's like so as above, so is below. It's the same thing. It's just a different realm. Okay, that's it. It's just a different realm. It's the same thing. All right. So I hear a lot about public and private and all this, and man, it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. You did. It's the same thing. So don't get caught up too much in that. Okay, what's public is private, and what private is public. Is that simple? Okay. So because they know everything anyway. So why hide? Why hide? Okay, there's nothing private, man. Your privacy being invaded a very, very long time ago. So everything is public. Okay? Everything is public. Let me see if I could pull this up. All right, so here we go. And I'm gonna show you guys this. I just emailed that to myself. All right, and I'm gonna share it with you guys to show you that I do this for real. Okay. All righty then. Here we go. And it's really up to you, man. Like I said, people perish for the lack of knowledge. So That's just what it is. It is what it is, man. You know, it is what it is. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and I'm going to show you this document real quick to show you that you know, hey, I do this for real. I don't play. Okay, you're not going to violate my rights because you feel like or you so choose. You know, I'm not going to allow you to do that. Where do I have this document at? Okay, let me see. Right here. No, that's not it. Okay, here we go. All right, cool. I got it right here. Give me a second. I'm going to share my screen again real quick. All right, so, and I'll explain to you what happened and let you know why I had to do that, right? Okay, so I'm showing you an envelope here, okay? An envelope. Let me make sure that you guys are seeing what I'm sharing. And you could pull it up and see what, you know, just look at the top left corner and you could see that I don't just talk, all right? I do, okay? We had a situation, all right, where we were dealing with a case in Brooklyn, New York, right? And I was assisting a brother. You know, me and my peoples, we were assisting a brother, and the court clerk, all right, or the clerk of court, they wanted to play games, and I'm like, nah, y'all are not gonna play these games. So I wrote the court clerk because the clerk of court wanted to play the games, and I know you're not the boss, so I went straight to the court clerk, and I wrote him a letter, and I asked him a few questions, and I let him know, hey, you know, I hope you know that you're a public official. All right. I hope you know that what you're doing, you're violating the people's rights. And I sent a letter and I asked a couple of questions. And I gave them 3 days to respond. Okay. 3 days to respond. And did I get a response? Yes, I did. Up in the left side right here. Okay. Right here. Clerk of the U.S. District Court of New York. Post dated date. When was that? That was April 4th. No, April 23rd, 2018. Okay? And they responded to Chief Kalanago Flying Eagle. All right? So just to let y'all know, I do this for real. I don't just talk about it. Okay? I do it for real. Just want to make that clear. And I'm not saying that to impress you. I'm showing you this to impress upon you that you have rights and you have to know your rights and you have to know that these people work for you. It's not the other way around. You are the boss. It doesn't mean you have to be out there wilding out. Now, be in honor. But when you're in honor, they are supposed to be in honor. They're not supposed to violate your rights. Period. Okay, when they violating your rights, they could go to jail. The sheriff's job is not to go tow people's cars and keep people out their houses. That's not the sheriff's job. All right? It's to keep those officials in check. That's what their job is. That's what they were appointed for. So I just want y'all to know I do this for real. Okay? Just to show for the record. You did. So once again, I'm gonna conclude this build. Like I said, take it for what it is, whatever value it has to you, man. I'm just giving you the information. All that stuff is public information. All right. Because like I said, too many of our people are getting jammed up. Too many people are getting hammed up. All right. And you perish for the lack of knowledge. That's why you're going through what you're going through. That's why they're able to do what they're doing with you. Okay. It's as simple as that. All right. So I hope you guys enjoy this build. Like I said, I know I was kind of a little all over the place with it, but maybe next time I'll try to be a little more organized because I just got up and I'm like, you know what, man, let me just do something for the family, you know, kind of get their mind away from all this distraction. You know what I'm saying? Because when you turn around, no matter how you look at it, you know, you step out there, we are the ones that's always getting jammed up. All right. We are the ones that's always getting jammed up. And I'm tired of seeing all people get jammed up for the lack of knowledge. You know what I mean? We can't blame anybody. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. It is that simple. You feel me? So yes, don't get me wrong. It's a fight. Okay, it is a fight. But you have to be able to know the game, and you have to stand on your own. All right? When you look at tennis, it doesn't matter who's playing. All right, let's use Serena as an example because everybody know the Williams sisters, right? But when Serena or Venus, any one of them, serve the ball, they're playing on a court, right? When they serve the ball into the court of the opponent, what the opponent got to do? The opponent got to what? Hit the ball back into the court. On their side of the court is the same thing. All right, it's the same thing. You are not obligated as a man or a woman to step into the court building. Okay, because the venue is not the court. People keep thinking the venue is the court. No, the venue is just the building. It's like church. Church is not the building. Church is not the venue. The church is in the heart. It's the same thing with the court. The court is the people. So you could send your notices back and forth. You serve me, I'm going to serve you back. You serve me, I'm going to serve you back until somebody decide, okay, you know what? You got it. That's what court is. But a lot of you thinking that the court is the building. The court is not the building. The court is just the venue. And the prosecutor got to pay the judge. So they have to get a win. My people, you perish for the lack of knowledge, man. It's that simple. You have to have the knowledge. That's why they work together, because anytime the prosecutor loses a case, he have to pay the judge. He have to pay for the venue. So they have to get a win somewhere or the other. Even if they don't find you guilty, they say, okay, you know what? Well, just pay a little fee, because they have to pay the judge. You feel me? So just know that you are the court, period. So when they serve you, you have to serve them back. Anytime you get any kind of notice or summons from the court, read the thing from a legal perspective. Use a legal dictionary, because you are speaking legalese. It is not regular English. A summons is an invitation to play a game, and you could decline playing the game. They know this. All right? They would even want to put out a warrant for you. But you see, not too many people is standing on the truth. So they will make an example of one or two. A warrant. All right? What's a rant? We could go look at the definition of a rant. When you're ranting, what you are doing. All right? It's a public outburst. That's a rant. What's war? They're declaring a public outburst on the people. That's a warrant. They're declaring war. Okay, so man, like I said, man, you have to know, family. You just have to know. Okay? There's no ifs and no buts about it. You just got to know the information. Okay? But the only way you could know the information, first, you have to know it exists. Secondly, you have to study the information and know how to understand it, or, comprehend the information from a legal perspective. Okay? Because the words are different. All right? They have different meanings in different venues. You feel me? And that's just what it is. All right? So just know that you are in charge. You are the boss. They're public servants. They work for you. And they're not supposed to tell you what to do. You tell them what to do. You feel me? All righty. Like I said, I could do the podcast all day, every day, as long as people are willing to support, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I got a roof over my head, and I got bills to pay. I just got to keep it real 100. You know what I'm saying? So as long as people are willing to support, I'm willing to share the information and teach you how to stand and articulate yourself. You feel me? Because I love this. It's my passion. But at the same time, you got to reciprocate. You know what I'm saying? You tell me how much your freedom is worth to you. I'm not here charging anybody for anything. But all I'm just saying is, man, listen, don't wait for me to ask you to support, because you don't have to ask me to do this. I'm just doing it because I care. You feel me? But at the same time, know that, Chief got responsibilities as well. You know what I'm saying? So, but yes, I think that we as a people, we need to come together and create our own. We have a right to create our own court. Okay? We have every right to do that. And by us doing that, that will be the highest court on the land, because no foreigner is supposed to make laws on our land. All they're allowed to do is make statutes and codes and ordinances. Okay? Only the original people have a right. Okay? Only the original people have a right to make laws on their land. And that's facts. Okay? The occupying force cannot take away the sovereignty of the people, meaning that the original people that they met. Okay? They're not supposed to do that. All right? So thank you once again, man. Thank you for all those that's showing love. America, I appreciate that. Good looking, good looking. All right, give you a little highlight on that. Thank you so much for supporting the super chat. Once again, for those of you who wish to support, I'm gonna send my app. By all means, show some love. All right, show some love. So, like I said, moving forward, family, I appreciate that Billionaire Club. Thank you so much. Big Club, thank you. All right, anytime, you're absolutely welcome. Okay. Moving forward, like I said, those are the kind of videos that I'm going to be doing. All right. We know we are the original people. We know we have been here. I'm tired of beating that dead horse. All right. I'm tired of, oh, well, we're not Moors, we Indians. Man, listen, I'm tired of all that. Okay. I'm tired of all that. My question to you is, when you step out your house, what type of respect are you getting? That is my question. And that's where I'm focused. I'm really focused on. All right. Moving forward is showing you how to stand, showing you how to protect your family, showing you how to protect your children. That's going to be my goal moving forward. Like I said before, if there's some type of information that I think it's pertinent in terms of history or whatever, I have to come present, I will do that. But moving forward, that's what I'm about. Okay. Things that's really effective. All right. What you could do and use to protect yourself against these people that's infringing on our rights. They're not above the law. All right. So today you got some information on the clerk. They have to file your documents, and there's laws to show if they don't. All right. Then they could go to jail for 6 months or up to 2 years. They also they must take an oath, and they have to have a bond, and it has to be posted. All right. So we dealt with that, the clerk. Now we spoke of the judges and the magistrates. If they're practicing attorneys, meaning that they are still part of the bar, which 98% of them are, they cannot be on the bench practicing law. That's a high misdemeanor. So just 2 of those information alone should assist you, all right, in being able to stand and take a stand. In future videos, we'll go into other ways you could articulate your rights and build as just a man or a woman. We don't have to use all the titles, all right? And I'll also show you how you could use the Bible, yes, the allegorical Bible, to go to court and deal with these people. Because that's what you swear on when you go to court, the Bible. So you could use it in court, all right, to deal with those cases, all right? So I'm about to conclude this build. I hope that benefits someone somewhere out there. You know what I'm saying? And if it did, please share the information. Go research everything that I just pointed out. Don't take my word for it. Okay? Go research it yourself. And by all means, if it's applicable, you know what I'm saying, then use it, so that you're able to assist your family so that, you know, our children don't get caught up in the system. All right. Another thing I'm going to be doing is, I know there are a lot of videos out there, you know, with, with cops, you know, stopping people and all. I'm going to show a couple of these videos, and we're going to go over them and talk about, you know, what could have been done different. You see what I'm saying? What should have been done in that situation. So, like I said, we have a lot of work to do. Now it's about empowering yourself. It's about learning how to protect yourself when you're dealing with these public servants. All right. So enjoy the rest of the day. Who knows? I might do another bill later, and we'll talk later. All right. Definitely. Absolutely. The bond that they have an oath of office, and they have a surety bond. All right. They all have that. So when they are violating your rights, then you could bring a claim against them and have their insurance pay, period, because they are not doing their job. And another thing before I leave, all right, don't forget that all these organizations are private organizations, okay? It has nothing to do with the federal government. They are all private organizations that chartered with the state, okay, to do business as a clerk of court or a court clerk. They're all private organizations. All right. And you have a right to choose not to do business with them. You have a right not to contract. Okay. You do it because you acquiesce without you not rebuttaling their invitation. But like I said, we'll get into all that. And once again, I'm not here advocating people violating people and breaking the law. And when I speak of the law, I'm talking about harming people, defrauding people, destroying people's property. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay? That's when that's the only time you have broken a law. And at the same time, be responsible. Okay? Be responsible. Because you know that you could get in your car and travel. Don't be on the highway doing 200 miles an hour and talking about I have rights. I don't condone foolishness. Okay? I don't condone people endangering people's lives. But when you are within your right, I will stand with you. And it's that simple. All right? So we'll talk soon. Peace. I'm out.